All right, welcome to Fleece Skirting 101. You will probably hear background noises like mowers and my beautiful little rooster crowing, and that's just life. So hopefully it won't be too loud in the background. But we're gonna skirt this fleece today, and I'm gonna show you things to look for while you're skirting a fleece. So we just got it out of the bag. I have not looked at this yet. Oh, thank you. We're going to discover this together. So what we want to do is unroll it and have the cut side down. So we want to look at the side that you would see on the sheep. So this is the cut side. This is the tip, and the cut end is what we call them. So we want tips out, cut end underneath. So let's see how this was rolled up. This is a mixed ram fleece. He's East Frisian, Clun Forest. I think it's just 50-50, East Frisian Clun Forest. So I'm excited to see what he looks like. We've got some interesting variation in the fleece. It comes apart. We're trying to keep it as intact as possible so we can see what is going on. Okay. And then, ooh, this is a big old fleece. We might not be able to get all of it in the camera. Let's look at the anatomy of this fleece. This right here, you can see, is the breech. Sheep like to lay. When they lay on their back end, it can sometimes get a little muddy and felted. So generally when we are skirting the fleece, some of the breech is going to come out. Can we see that okay? Yes. So we're just going to start with the basic. Do we see anything muddy or poopy looking? Anything kind of gross? This little section here, it's just a little bit of it, but I'll show you. So we've got like poop. Let me make sure we can see what we're doing here. Yeah, you can see it's got little poopy tags, is what we call them. We don't want that. So that's coming out. Oop. Okay. Anything that's really felty looking. So this is another part here. It's a little bit dirty. The dirt doesn't look too bad of it, but this is felted. Like, this is not coming apart. So we will not be able to process this. Like, this entire chunk here. Oh, and there's some second cuts. We can see where the shearer went over a second time. So they cut this, and then there was a little part sticking up, and so they go over it again, and you get these really short bits. We can't spin with this, so we definitely don't want second cuts. But this here, you can see this bottom part, the cut end, comes apart just fine. It's nice. But this tip felted together. So we can't work with that. We don't want that. So any parts that are felted together, we don't want. Okay, so this whole little section here is all that felty bit that I showed you. Yeah. And sometimes it seems a bit felty, and it will, let's see here. So it's a little bit felted up top, but like it can come apart if you really pull it, but you can see it's breaking. I don't know if you can hear it. But then, so once you do pull it apart, let's get a little section here. So you can see, so you hold it, and I can already tell that this end is weak. We pull it. You can see that part's breaking off. So the tips of that are weak. We don't really want that. What else are we looking for in here? Yeah, we don't want weak tips. We don't want anything that's covered in poop. We don't want anything that's super coarse either. So that's not too bad. Let's see if we can find, there's a second cut. You don't want these second cuts. And then this, yeah, so this is a little muddy. Through here, is a little bit muddy, but it's not too bad because that'll wash out. So we've got, here's a good example of, okay, so there's a poopy bit, poopy tag. We do not want that part. Kind of gross. This part here, there's some mud on it, but you can see like it's gonna come out fine. Oh, but there's that weak tip, okay? So we don't want that. So there's a couple things you can do to test out and see how things are looking. We've got, okay, so this one, the britch area, it's got some muddy tips, but it's not coming off. That's very strong. So the mud will wash out, but this is nice and strong here. So we've got a little bit of poop right here. We'll go ahead and take that out. We don't want that. Anything super felty looking, super poopy, like, yep, here we got some poop here. Don't want that. Let's check these. Yeah, those are sturdy. Okay. So yeah, if the tips are breaking off and it looks muddy and dirty, go ahead and get rid of it. Don't bother with it. If the tips are muddy and it's strong, you do that little pull test and it stays, it doesn't break off, I'd say it's fine. Leave it. As long as it's not caked in mud or poop. So, yep, like this here, straight up poop on the ends of that. Gross. Don't want that. This part here, so sometimes on the edges you get like these little, like kind of curly bits, really short. Like the staple, it's nothing. Like get rid of that. We don't want those little edge pieces that are just super short, like a lot shorter than the rest of the fleece. You want it to be kind of uniform throughout. We'll get rid of hay and stuff as we're going along as well. Might as well. So let's check out this side over here. Okay, so we see again, we're getting some of those felted bits. And like it's coming apart, but I have a feeling that that tip's gonna break right off. We don't want that. Sometimes it's okay if it's a bit of a tippy fleece. That's what we call it when the tip breaks off. If it's got like a nice good staple length and the rest of the fiber looks really pretty and the tip breaks off, sometimes it's workable. It's going to be extra work for the person processing it because those tips will break off and make neps. So that's something that you want to warn people about if the tips are weak, is what we call it. If it's got weak tips, that's something you want to let spinners know about so they can decide if they want to take on that project or not. Okay, so we have more felty bits here. Yeah, just doesn't look great. Breaks right off. Yeah. Don't want that. Off you go. Okay, we got more poop here. Gross. Don't want that. And all this is going to be mulch on my gardens. It's the leftover bits, the parts that you're skirting out, like all this poop, great nutrition for your gardens. So if you grow plants, if you have gardens, do not throw that away. Use that on your gardens. Great for fertilizer, great for water retention. Can you guess what we have going on here? We got a little bit of both. A little bit of poop we don't like, and felted. Don't like that. This is actually a really good looking fleece. We don't have a lot of bad stuff going on here. We don't have a lot we have to skirt out. Most of your problems are actually going to be along the edges, which makes it a bit easier. This middle part here usually doesn't have anything wrong with it, so that's why it's called skirting, because we're just skirting around the edge and getting rid of any gross stuff around the edge. And so, yeah, like this little bit here might look okay. It's not poopy. It's kind of felty, and it's got a lot of VM in it, vegetable matter. Like if you look in there, there's just a lot going on, and you can feel it as you're pulling it apart. You can feel like fibers snapping and breaking, and that tells you that it's felted and that it's going to be weak and it's just going to fall apart in your carder. Spinners don't want this. So if you pull it apart and you feel it breaking when you're pulling it sideways, you don't want it. If it's chock full of VM in there and the rest of your fleece looks really nice, you don't want this. You don't want to deal with it. Especially with a huge fleece like this, you don't want to waste your time on parts that are weak, parts that have just a ton of VM in it, because look at all this beautiful fiber we have to work with here. So, yeah, we're going to check that. We've got some second cuts in here. So little tiny short bits where the shearer went over us for a second pass, and we can't do anything with this. This is way too short. We want this longer stuff. So this is just a little bit down there. We don't want that. Anything like that, we're taking out. Okay, how are we looking? Yep, this is really short here. Really filled with VM. Like, the length on that is nothing. It's filled with VM. Don't mess with it. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. This whole section here, while it's really soft and it is a bit longer, it is filled with VM here. So this part is a bit iffy, depending on how much work you want to do as a spinner. Like, it's got super great length. Look how pretty that is at the bottom. The top half is filled with VM. If the entire fleece was like this, and like, let's look at this. Okay, it's sturdy, filled with VM in this section here. If the whole fleece was like this and filled with VM, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I know this is going to be a lot of work for this whole fleece, and it's priced really nicely, and I'm willing to go through and work with it like that, great. If the rest of the fleece looks amazing like this, I'm not going to mess with it. All right? People will differ in their opinions. That one's a bit like up in the air. Do what you want to do with that one. This has got a good bit of VM in this part here, but it's bigger VM. It's easier to get this straw out than it is to get all those teeny tiny little bits. So this part does not bother me too much. A lot of this will shake out. Yeah, it's got a good bit of VM. Okay. This here, these are just muddy tips. So let's pull out a section here. Look how long, look how crimpy that is. Isn't this beautiful? This is what color it's going to be once we wash it. So these tips are muddy. They look kind of gross. This will wash out. This is amazing. The snap test, you do that to see how strong the fiber is. You want to do this in a couple different areas of your fleece to make sure that it is sound. So that you just grab both ends. You don't want to like rip it apart, but you want to snap it. And especially if you hear like a little boinging sound, that's even better. That means that is quality. The tips aren't coming off. Sometimes when sheep get really stressed about something, or when females are having babies, there will be like a break in the fleece, or like nutrient deficiency. There's all kinds of things that could cause a break in the fleece. And so sometimes it'll break at the tip, sometimes it'll break in the middle. And so you just want to test. If it breaks in half in the middle, most of the time you don't want to mess with that. It's not going to be a good fleece. So, or you can try to sell it and just if it's long enough, like if it has like a 6-inch staple and it has a break right down the middle and you're getting good workable fiber that's 3 inches on both sides, sometimes spinners will take it on. And they'll be like, yeah, 3-inch staple length, which is the length of the fiber, cut in two, that's fine. I'll work with that. You just need to let them know that up front, that it has a break in the fleece and where it is. So that's from like the front shoulder area. Let's check right in the middle, in the back. And you'll notice that the fiber will look different sometimes at different parts of the fleece. So let's take this. This is actually fairly uniform throughout. This is the nice one. The breech is going to look a little different, but this is right from the middle of the back. Look at that. Beautiful. So let's get one from the breech. This is the back, left side, right side, shoulders, breech. This is going to show you why spinners will often want to, why it's important to show different parts of the fleece to potential spinners. Because look at this. This looks completely different from this. Look at the crimp in that. They're the same length, but the crimp in this is going to make a much softer, bouncier type of fabric. And then this one, this does not have any stretch whatsoever. Look at that. There's nothing, no give. The crimp, which is these French fry looking things, that's what gives it the bounce. Look how much stretch there is. So these are going to create two very different fibers. People can choose to combine these and make something kind of middle of the road. This will make very like drapey, like think shawls type of stuff. And this will make a more bouncy, think like hats where you want a bit of stretch. So this is good to show when you're selling fleeces, for example. This is good to show, you know, this is the breech, this is the shoulder or the back, you know. Give them a few different samples so they know what the entire fleece holds, and they can be like, oh yeah, I want to use this to make this type of yarn. I would use this to make another type of yarn, or I don't care, I'm just going to combine it all so it doesn't matter. Just good information to know. So I'm probably, when I process this as a spinner, I think I'm going to take the breech sections out and spin them separately from the rest of this. The rest of this looks pretty uniform. We've got these fun little things going on here. Look at this guy as compared to this. What fun. Look at how curly Q that is. And it's a little muddy on the tips. It looks a little felted. So let's just do a little bit of a test here. Okay, the tips are breaking off on that. So we do have to make that choice. Do we want to trash that section or do we want to leave it in? We'll see. I think I'm going to separate these guys out too and maybe process them up a little bit different because they do look a little bit different than the majority of the fleece. So this is what we have. Sometimes the neck area will have a lot of, that's actually what we were doing here, was the neck. It had a lot of VM in it. And while it can be the softest part of the fleece, if it's just got loads of VM, sometimes it's just worth it to get rid of it. These parts are really short. We're going to get rid of that. Yeah, so that is skirting a fleece. Those are some things to look for. So, to roll this back up again and keep it organized so that we can easily unroll it, we're going to take both sides. We're going to fold them in to the middle, like so, revealing some more poopy bits. Classic. We do not want those. Sometimes you get a little bit of horn or hoof in there. Okay. All right. So you fold it in towards the middle. And you want the cut end on the outside. You want that to be what people see. Get rid of these short bits, ugly bits. Okay? So you have those two folded in, and then we're gonna just roll it up down the middle. Look at this guy. I'm not shaking the camera too much. Roll it in, make this nice beautiful log, and then you can put that in your bag, package it up. If you're shipping it out, I recommend looking into a vacuum sealer to make it smaller so that your package does not cost you as much, because we're all about saving that money. And I'm always doing little things. Put these out here. And there you go. There is your beautiful fleece, presented beautifully. And then you just put it back in the bag. and it's beautiful. I'm not going to put it back in the bag, obviously, because I'm about to separate this out and start washing it so I can work with it. But there you go. Let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully this video is helpful. Thanks for watching. See ya.